In 2018, against Juventus, a player launched himself into the air, calculated the exact angle of a dropping cross, and executed a flawless bicycle kick. The strike was so mechanically precise that even rival fans stood up to applaud. This period marked the arrival of prime Ronaldo. He operated as a relentless, highly calibrated machine designed to dismantle defenses. But he didn't arrive in Manchester in 2003 fully formed. He was a skinny teenager from the small island of Madeira with a massive amount of unpolished talent. He possessed electric pace and a catalog of flashy stepovers. However, critics quickly pointed out a major flaw. His game was highly entertaining, but it lacked consistent execution. How a highly scrutinized winger systematically deleted those flaws to become a singular attacking weapon is one of the most fascinating engineering processes in sports history. He treated media criticism as a diagnostic report. Instead of complaining, he used those critiques as a direct blueprint to rebuild his physical profile. He stripped away the unnecessary showboating, he added heavy muscle mass, and optimized his movement for explosive running and striking efficiency. Look at this chart mapping his early scoring output. We see a steady plateau in his first few seasons, until the 2007-2008 campaign, where the data violently spikes to 42 goals. That individual optimization translated directly to collective dominance. Manchester United secured both the Premier League title and the Champions League trophy. He secured his first Ballon d'Or, shifting his status from a rising star to a global phenomenon. Most players would consider that season the limit of their career. For him, it was merely a successful prototype. In 2009, he moved to Real Madrid for a world record fee, initiating a window of sustained dominance that lasted nearly a decade. This tactical heat map reveals his physical versatility. Glowing nodes appear inside the penalty area, converting with both feet and his head from any angle. Opposing managers discarded standard defensive shapes, forcing defenders to collapse inward around him, leaving the perimeter exposed for teammates. He was testing this output against the highest possible friction, a historic FC Barcelona squad, and a fierce rivalry with Lionel Messi. The pressure of that rivalry became a catalyst. The tighter the margin and the higher the stakes, the more likely he was to deliver a decisive last-minute strike. European nights became his primary testing ground, where he routinely dismantled the continental elite. His time in Madrid proved that maintaining a career peak requires constructing a psychological shield against constant elite-level pressure. The goals on the pitch were simply the final output. The actual work happened in private, treating his physical form like a complex biological equation. Looking at this biometric overlay, we see the variables he strictly managed: calibrated diets, specifically measured sprint velocities, and recovery routines timed down to the minute. While other professionals took time off after a championship, he was often alone in an empty facility, attacking minor flaws in his vertical leap. A decade-long peak is rarely a genetic accident. It is the direct result of brutal, unglamorous AE maintenance. The final ledger is significant. He finished with records that redefined the standard for scoring, alongside multiple Ballon d'Or awards and domestic titles. This graph illustrates the typical, short-lived bell curve of a professional athlete. He broke that model by stretching his highest level of performance across an entire decade. He demonstrated that a career isn't defined by starting potential, but by the work used to shape it. Millions saw that mastery can be forced into existence. Cristiano Ronaldo showed us that elite performance is never inherited. It is carefully, relentlessly engineered.